Yeah.
Welcome to Tea Time with Kitty, giving everyone to get all situated so that we can start today's topic. Giving everyone a chance to get all logged on, having me some fresh water today. Before we go into the topic, I have two questions that I'm going to ask. Well, one question that I'm going to ask because I don't think the topic that we had will need as much time. And I also had a trending conversation that's trending, and that's the conversation with the gentleman who had one child with the lady, and he only purchased, I think, a McDonald's meal for one of the children. And we had a topic like this similar, like just with the requirements. And I think that sometimes we often mix up someone, how can I say this? Someone doing a good deed as opposed to something that someone has to do. So we're going to talk about that in just a second as well. So giving everyone about 1 more minute to get all signed in, and then we shall get started. Oh, and today's topic will be up close and personal. So once we get into the other two dialogues, we'll begin to talk about things that we're just sometimes self-conscious of. And we want to know, is it really that big of a deal, or is it just us, right? Okay. So we're going to get started with the first one. So it's just a little icebreaker before we go into the trending topic. And the icebreaker for today is, have your summer begin? And when do your summer begin? What is that based off, right? So one is, have your summer begin? And that's a yes or no. And when does your summer begin? I know that we kind of shared that in today's meeting, and it talked about your summer beginning. Some people say it began at Memorial Day. Some people said theirs began when school let out. And then I think the official first day of summer is June 21st. And that's when some person's summer started. So when did your summer start? When did your summer start? And then make sure you type it in the chat when your summer start. And how do you define when your summer starts? So is it defined by June 21st? Is it defined by Memorial Day? Or is it defined by uh, when the children get out of school? And I am having some, hey Shamika. So Shamika, when does your summer start? I see that you're kind of chatting in. When do your summer start? Let's see. May 20th. So May 20th, Chucky, that's for you, May 20th. Okay. So that's kind of near Memorial Day as well. Anyone else? When does your summer start? Where's yours? When does your summer start? And we have about 1 more minute. And Chucky, yours did. So Shamika, you say yours started when the official summer begins, and I believe that's June 21st. Anyone else? I think if I had to answer, mine probably would start May 1st. Um, because I go into the month of May celebrating my birthday with a whole birth month, and that's when I really kind of go into that. And by the time I come out of my month, we're actually going into summer, right? Almost into summer. So if I had to say what mine would be it would be when my birthday started. That would be May 1st, although the weather is not in full swing, but it gets started. It started as soon as I wore my first pair of booty shorts. Okay, okay. So it varies each year. Okay, so booty shorts is official summer. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into it. It's 5:15 now. We're gonna talk about what happened, and you all can chime in as well, because I received my information secondhand from Christian today. And the topic and what he wanted to share was a trending topic about a man who only purchased McDonald's food for his child. So, to my understanding, I think the woman had 4 children, and she only had I'll go back to that. She had 4 children, but out of the 4 children, I believe only one of the children was his, and he purchased a McDonald meal for his child. And it's trending because people feel as though he should have purchased food for all the children. So I'm giving you all a chance to chat what you think about that. I'm going to read what some other persons have coming in. Dan, you said I would say June or the first 85-degree day. I like that. Sharia's last day of school and my birthday, since I have her for the summer. Okay, so do Sharia get out of school in May as well? Because that's kind of early. And let's see. Pookie said them kids gonna be hungry. Why are them kids gonna be hungry? Pookie, what are you talking about when you say it's some of them kids? What kids are gonna be hungry? Also, she gets out in May. Okay, so that's early. Okay. So anyone else, the one to wrap up, we already started into the trending topic, and it's male or female, because we're not just going to put it to one person. And when I think about this, because we had a similar topic to this about a year ago, but when I think about this, I want to be more broader than that, because it's not just the man doing that. Um, Oh, the kids gonna be. Oh, the kids. Oh, so you went into the topic already. Okay, Pookie, thanks for putting me on point. So you went into the topic already, but it's not. We talked about it being him, and people was alarmed that he did that. But sometimes people do that in their very own families, meaning that me and my sister may both have a child, and both our children are 3 years old. I go to McDonald's, I grab my child something to eat because I was working late and I'm not able to cook anything, and I didn't bring my niece or nephew anything. So when we're looking at that, let's not just look at it with that guy. And then we first know, first and foremost, that the ideal thing to do would be to purchase the child something to eat, right? We all think that would be the ideal thing to do. But just because it's ideal don't mean that it's wrong. Because when you think of topics of such, it has a lot to do with that person, right? So it has something to do with that person's mindset, that person's feelings or way of thinking, or it could just be that person's finances, because we always sometimes say what should or could have happened, and we don't have a penny to put in state with a situation, right? So would you do that, right? So, and let's talk about, because like I said, we're dealing with finances, so everyone's finances are not the same. So let's talk about, would you have just not purchased the food at all? I guess that's what some of us feel that they would have done. Or your child ultimately is your responsibility. So I don't think that the guy was wrong. Would I have done it? No. Because I would have definitely made them share the food or something to that nature. But again, is that guy really responsible for feeding all 4 of her children, right? I mean, because when she gets her stimulus check for the 4 children, she doesn't have to break it down with him. So, what are your thoughts? The ideal thing to do was for her, knowing he was coming, to just ask because her food stamps ain't come. Also, it was a question about food stamps in that topic. Okay, so Pookie, enlighten us a little bit more. So, you said it was a situation, her food stamps hadn't came, and he only brought food for one of the children, right? And so people are very upset about that, because people tend to not play about kids. They may smoke weed in front of them, or they may have sex in front of them, but you dare better not feed a child, right? So because people care about kids when it comes to that. She claimed her food. Oh, okay. So thanks for, because I didn't get that piece when Christian called and shared it with me today. I didn't get that piece. Okay, so what does anyone else think? Should he have, because again, he's not responsible. So I think that sometimes we get caught up with the ideal thing to do. So the ideal thing to do and the good Samaritan thing to do and all those types of good things to do would have been to have gotten something for everybody. But if it's not the ideal thing to do, it doesn't necessarily make someone wrong. So we've talked about that before as well. So we have to understand that because it's something that you would or would not do, doesn't necessarily make that situation wrong, right? Okay, so we're gonna give anyone else that has anything. Okay, so Shamika, you feel like it's not right. Okay, and I definitely think I would agree that the person should have, but I don't think that it's the wrong thing to do. I would feed a stranger if I had it, and I definitely would too. I definitely would feed a stranger. And what you saying that, Chucky, it makes a lot of sense because sometimes we often don't feed people begging for money outside of restaurants, because hunger is hungry. It shouldn't just be saying, hey, you can't leave a child hungry. Really, you shouldn't. Like, if you're that person and you said you wouldn't leave a stranger hungry, you should leave no one hungry, right? So meaning that, like, we sometimes, well, I know I can't speak for you all, but I know for me, I sometimes went through a phase in my life where I wouldn't give people the money for food because I'd be like, oh, they probably gonna use it on alcohol or they probably gonna use it on drugs. But really, that when you're doing a good deed, you're doing just a good deed. So I'm glad that I'm delivered from that. So it's not based on what that person may do. If you're doing a good deed, you're doing it from the heart. And when you're doing it from the heart, you're not concerned about what the outcome may look like, right? Noodles don't cost much. They could have fed a household. Definitely could have fed a household. And with that being said, now you only with noodles. Noodles is like only the one item that is really still inexpensive because everything else is truly expensive. Um, and you said you're buying food, so you're buying a lot of food. Okay, so you're buying a lot of food. So what about if this person wasn't being honest? Like, so if you known this person to not be honest all the time, would you still have done it just because the kids were in the equation? What does that look like? And now, that we spend so much time on the trending topic and the icebreaker topic, we have to now go into our conversation. And our conversation is up close and personal. What do you see when you look at me? Is it that bad, right? What do you see when you look at me? So for me, back in April, May, I got my hair dyed red. For the most part, people always tell me how much they love it. But when I'm looking at it at times, I don't love it as much as people love it, right? So I go through a phase where I'll look in the mirror and I'll look into my roots and I'll see some of my gray hair coming out. And it makes me not like my hair as much, right? But sometimes other people don't see that. Sometimes people just see the outer beauty image of you, and we sometimes are extremely hard on ourselves because of our up close and personal, right? So what do you think about that? Do you feel like you're harder on yourself or self-conscious on yourself with a lot of things about yourself, or is it really not that bad? Another thing, like, I'll tie a jacket around me in a minute because I don't like how people like stomach and stuff all come together, whatever. Where to somebody else, my stomach is probably not bigger than someone else's, right? And I just had to receive a reminder just on Saturday that, you're beautiful. You don't have to do that. So what do you think about it? Does anyone else have any flaw that you feel like is a up close and personal flaw that you have, and that you're so hard on yourself about, but no one else probably even notice it, right? Let's see what Pookie got. He probably don't like them disrespectful kids, so let their father. Oh my God, the kids, and I mean, kids are truly disrespectful. So we sometimes hear the word kids, but a child can go up until age 18. So all of these kids are not all that nice, right? Yeah, so he probably don't like him, and that's why he didn't feed him, right? But thinking about looking at yourself up close and personal, is there anybody else that deals with things that, like, no one else may can see or know about you, but you see it and you know it, so it makes you a little self-conscious, dealing with your flaws? And how do you deal with that? I gained a lot of weight postpartum, and since I have never weighed as much as this in my life, I have become self-conscious about it. Wow. And most people would love to have your little bit of added weight, right? To compare with some things that people are really going through. So that is definitely true, because when someone else may be looking from the outside, you got some people that may be overly obese that's saying, if I could just get to that size. And then you may have be some people that just as skinny and taking all types of pills just to try to get a little weight on them. So right, definitely learning to just love yourself unconditionally, love your flaws, because what you see as flaws, someone else may see as beautiful, right? My real point is we don't know the full story to say, and that's my thing. I don't believe in saying people is wrong because I don't agree with their action. There's a story probably behind everything. So because I don't agree does not mean that they're wrong. But people are always saying I'm not that big. I just see it differently. And when people used to tell me when I was small about your size, that I wasn't that big, I didn't want to hear that until I got that big. And then you'd be like, I should have just left well enough alone, right? Just left well enough alone. Yes, I gained weight. So you gained weight after your daughter as well, Pookie. Okay. And I guess that could happen. Because a lot of times men take on cravings. So maybe you took on some cravings. Yari says she doesn't believe you. But maybe you took on some cravings throughout the pregnancy, and it's probably hard for you to read. So how do you deal with that? Like, do you try to camouflage it at all, or do you just accept it for what it is? Accepting our flaws. I think accepting our flaws is so important, so important. And like they always say, what someone else may not love and appreciate, someone else will. So Pookie, how do you deal with your flaws? I know Yanni, talked about it as well, and she can chime in and let us know, how does she deal with it? Does it make you want to cover up more? And then again, we fed this little baby right here dinner early, and it still looks like she still wants to talk for tea time. And normally when she eats, she's really quiet. So I don't know what that is about right there, because she's enjoying her dinner, but she's still talking. Okay. Um, you accept it and wear black. So you wear black, and you look good in black. Okay, so that's definitely a self-esteem booster, because you already determined that you look good in black. And I've known that they always say black makes people look smaller. So I am definitely in agree with it. Accept it. Okay, accept it and wear okay, because you look good in black. I've never really had problem with how I look size wise, right? So whether you're skinny, tall, or whatever the case, you've never had to worry about it, right? We are our own biggest critic. Definitely, we're definitely our biggest critic. So how do you deal with some of the things? Like, do you just remind yourself? I know some people talk a lot about having self I can't get the word out, self affirmations, where you just kind of like remind yourself that you're beautiful, because some things people will tear you down about things about yourself. So you have to make sure that you're really reminding yourself that that you're beautiful, and these flaws just comes with life, right? I just remind myself I would rather have a baby and baby weight than no baby at all. So that's definitely something positive to remind yourself. People walk around with one leg, one arm. So I know that we definitely can be understanding to a little weight. But sometimes we beat ourselves up. It could be where we live, how much we make, whether we're a renter as opposed to an owner. It can be the type of car that we drive. So we definitely really have to find some peace within ourselves, because if you constantly look for it, look for things in others that make you whole, whether it's people or whether it's materialistic things, we have to definitely re-examine ourselves. I know I hear a lot of times that social media plays a big part with dealing with people with their own self-esteem, and trying to overcome things because they show things one particular way. But and I've seen some nice baddies, like I thank God that I drunk Stimulat. So coming up, I had the perfect shape, right? But even with gaining weight now, and I see people, have gotten their body does, and kudos to them. But I am someone that's truly scared of pain, right? So I definitely wouldn't go through a surgery just to get it that way. Like I'll try the gym every now and then, or try to change my eating patterns. But as far as going a whole extra mile, kudos to those that can, because loving yourself, we do have to invest in it, whether it's with your nails, your toes, your lashes, your haircut, the shape up around your beard. But different people can tolerate different things, right? Because some people would love to have stretch marks if it meant they could be a mom. Yes, because we definitely got to be mindful that some people may not even be able to take that gift on. So we have to embrace everything that comes with it. I know that it's something I can change, while some people are going through things that they cannot change. And I think it's very, very, very important um to love yourself. Like I admire people who are able to like cut their hair off. Like for me, hair is everything, my teeth is everything. Those two things that like mean a lot to me. But I do know how some people are able to cut their hair off or cut their hair low, and they are beautiful, right? They are beautiful. And I think that I have a nice face, but I think I got like too much of a round face to do something like that. So I don't know if I would ever go that far. But I admire people that do that. Like even women that went natural years ago. Like I'm talking about women that went natural 20 years ago when we wasn't really embracing it then. I really admire that. Like with the natural, like they didn't need to perm, they didn't need to feel beautiful from, from things that they were putting in. They were able to just do it from their natural self. And like some of those women are like models now. Even with low haircuts, and they are beautiful. Like they have beautiful eyes, beautiful high cheekbones. So they're definitely really setting the trend for how that looks, right? You had a short haircut before, mom, though, mom left. Right, but I had a short haircut that was curled. So mine was permed and curled. I'm talking about the short haircut, how some women do like a low boy cut or a bald head. I've always admired the beauty that goes with that, but I've never done that. So I have had a low haircut but it was able to curl, so it wasn't like low like some people else. I know. Yeah, it was something I decided to cut my hair. You mean from when you had your braids? You talking about from when you had braids and then you cut it? I forgot all about that. How old were you when you cut your hair? We're going to the gym starting next month. I want to lose 20 pounds. I need your motivation. Okay, we're gonna go because we gotta be cut up for Jamaica, right? So when we go to Jamaica with them young folks, we gotta be ready for them. So Pookie, you can come on and go with us too because you're like a not a young folk, but you're like a mid, right? So we need you to come with us too. And we just got to get out there and get dedicated so that we can be proud of our pictures when we look back at it. Anyone else that deals with anything that you can motivate someone with, that's dealing with anything with self-love or self-esteem, and just loving yourself up close and personal. Like again, I know someone that had an accident before, and their body is like, have like a lot of things that people wouldn't see, like scars that people just wouldn't normally. The triple OG, yeah. You want Yari? Please, we want to start bringing Yari to you on Wednesdays because I think this is going to be Yari's last Wednesday joining tea time. Well, I'm going to have to go back home with my husband because this little girl, if I go there, she'll come there too. And I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm talking and it's making her talk. I don't know what it is, but she never talks at her meal times. I can't believe she's doing this. Every time I start, she starts back. Yeah, definitely come get her. But anyone else have anything they do? Because what about people that's dealing with that? Like people that's just like, hey, I know when I put all this on, I look well, and I present well. But if someone was to see me take it off, then I'll have to let them see that, my side is injured or so many things. I remember Huggy Lowdown, if you all familiar with him, he told a story of this girl he knew. Oh, this was so funny. We're gonna get ready to wrap up off of this one. Now she quiet because everyone is looking at her. Exactly. But Huggy Lowdown told a story. He said it was this girl that he went to school with. And he said she was fat. He was like, like a big girl. No one wanted her. This and that and the other. He said so at this class reunion, he said he seen her and she came in there looking bad. I mean, I heard this so long ago, it was before we even heard about really people getting their bodies done like that, right? But he said this girl was bad. He said she looked good. He said she always had a nice face and her body looked good. So he said they talked at the reunion and they decided to hook up. And he said, hold on, let me see. Hold on one second. Anything else, Shari? Anything else? Because when I stop, you stop, and this is not going to work, right? We're going to get us some earphones, right? Yes, I used to feel like that about my Shrek box and flabby stuff. Yeah, so those are the things that people love about us, especially a real man, and you don't have to cover up those things. But back to the Huggy Lowdown part. Back to the Huggy Lowdown. I'm rolling my eyes at this baby and everything, right? So back to the Huggy Lowdown part. So he said they get back to the hotel room. She looks great, smelling good. He can't wait to rip her clothes off. And he said when the lady gets undressed, he said there's a scrunchie holding all her fat together, tied up in the back. And she must have had surgery, but didn't get the they said when you get surgery and stuff, they said you have to get massages and some other stuff so that you won't have that flabby skin. Or sometimes I hear people say they get it removed, right? And Huggy Lowdown said in the back of her dress, the part that he thought like was part of her butt that made her body look so bomb, all her fat was in a scrunchie, and it was tied up in a scrunchie, right? And he said he ran out that hotel room. He said he ain't look back. And if anybody knows Huggy Lowdown, he talk like this. I ain't look back. I ran out that hotel room as fast as I can. It's about 20 years later, and I still think that is so fun. Think that that is so funny, that it's very important that if you are getting surgery or if you did some type of juice or a pill to make you lose weight really fast, still try to camouflage that with the gym a little bit, because you don't want to be in a situation like Huggy Lowdown, like when somebody takes your clothes off, it all goes sliding down here. I ain't talking about the little fat stomach and the stretch marks. I'm talking about the whole everything just goes sliding down the hill. Now, of course, I think he made that part up about having her fat inside a scrunchie to keep it together. So I definitely think that he made that part up. But just a little jokey to make sure that we're always aware that we're beautiful. We when we're beautiful, we're beautiful. So sometimes people looking on the outside, they may have something to say. You're gonna have haters that's gonna always have something to say or find something wrong with somebody. But then there's also someone who feels that you're beautiful, and your beautifulness ranges from inside to outside, outside to back in. So love yourself and embrace yourself. So I am trying to really embrace my gray hair, as opposed to getting a rinse every time I see one little string coming out. So I'm trying to embrace that. Thank you so much. um and I am working on that time. My jacket around. I'm just gonna put like my waist trainer on when I gotta put that on, so I don't gotta tie it around. Then we're going to work out. So that part is gonna work out great. So when I'm leaving tea time today, I'm going to I'm going to fellowship with my job. We've been doing a lot of fellowshipping since we only was staff work about two. I work about 2 to 3 days a week. So everyone's not in the office, so you barely see each other. I know I don't see anybody because I work on Mondays and Fridays, and those are the days that people truly don't really want to come into the office. They pick other days. So I know I don't really see people. So I'm looking forward to going out and enjoying ourselves. So thank you all so much for sipping. Tomorrow you all right? That's okay. So you know what, your gift is right here, and if you, I should show you your gift. I bet you make it beautiful if I show you this gift, right? Yes, I have 3 grays now, and wait for the rest of the company. Like, I love gray hairs. Oh wow, you love gray, but I had my first piece of gray hair since I was 19. Love you, big baby. I am so now it's just like it just has to come out in the roots. Like, it just want to be red and still. I don't know what that's about. At least be red and go like the Redskins. But thank you all so much for sipping with a sister. Thank you all so much for giving your input. Yeah, no gift for him. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. And as always, thank you so much. Oh, and thank you so much to my viewers. I have so many people that go back that's not able to log on with us, and they go back and watch it, and they reach out to me and they chat with me about what the show is about. That is truly appreciated, that you all don't find it robbery to go back and view a show when you miss it. So thanks again, and see you next week.